Hello, my name's Bob Graham and welcome to this short refresher on the clinical process for completing the Admiral Nurse Assessment Framework or ANAF in COMPASS. The tutorial includes some of the frequently asked questions that nurses have had following their initial training. Assessment begins at the first point of contact or the first time you gather information from the client. During a period of assessment, you may have several phone conversations and face-to-face encounters. Each of these should be recorded in the daily activity log as a separate entry, with assessment as one of the interventions utilised during that session. The ANAF section of COMPASS is not the place to record full details of any clinical session. It does not substitute your daily activity log. You should only include relevant information in the assessment, and that is what should be added to your ANAF. The end date of an assessment is really once you're able to negotiate your care plan with the carer based on the information that you've recorded in the ANAF. Often the assessment will be started and completed at the end of the first face-to-face encounter. It's not uncommon that is the point when you can begin to identify your care plan. But where the assessment is more complex, COMPASS is flexible enough to enable you to enter information gradually as you build up a picture of what the key issues are. And where this is the case, the ANAF can be opened on COMPASS at the initial point of contact or the first time you gather information which supports your assessment. And whilst the assessment remains open, you can add information to it and create and amend care plans. It is also possible to create and complete a short-term care plan within the framework or the timeline of the assessment process. But the assessment itself will only become a legal document once it's completed and fixed. In the notes section of the ANAF, you really only need to record the information which has enabled you to make a clinical assessment in each domain. If you're identifying an unmet need, you should give brief details of the factors which helped you and the carer to identify that need. If you are recording that the need has been met, then you should give brief details about what that need is and who is supporting the person to meet that need. If no need is identified, if you have specific evidence, yes, you should add something here. But in the case of that there is no evidence, you can leave this blank. An example might be Section 5 medication when no one involved is receiving any prescribed medication. If you're unable to assess a domain, you should make a short statement about the barrier to assessment. An example being Domain 9 environment when you only ever see someone in clinic. Every unmet need will require at least one care plan. To create a care plan, simply click on the plus button. You scroll to the bottom of the screen after your notes and click on the plus button. That will create a single care plan. Click on that for each subsequent care plan. A care plan should only be created for a domain in which you have identified an unmet need and where you have negotiated one or more interventions. And you can create as many care plans as you need. Remembering, of course, that the care plan should only be about the interventions for which you will be professionally accountable. It's also possible you might require more than one care plan for a domain, and this should certainly be considered when you've got very clear issues which have different expected completion dates or may require a different set of interventions. The start date for all care plans should be between the actual time of the start and end of the assessment. In the care plan you will see shortly, the dates for the start of the individual care plans fall between the start and the completion date of the whole assessment process. In this case, the 27th of the 10th at 10 o'clock and the 27th of the 10th, 11 o'clock. If you need help in writing care plans, you can refer to the information nursing objective buttons, which contain guidance on the scope of each domain and the typical skills and interventions that should be applied. This is not uncommon for nurses where a care plan will cover multiple domains. In the event that that happens, it's perfectly acceptable to record the care plan under one domain and then refer to that in the other domains. Or if you prefer, you can cut and paste, but either approach is acceptable. In this particular example, if you look at the interventions on domain 6, and that intervention is also relevant to domain 7, so I've recorded it as under care plan 6. You'll also note that the start date for these two care plans is at 27th of the 10th at 10:30, which is the example of how it falls between the times of 10 and 11. Once you complete your care plans, your assessment should be saved and fixed. You can then review the care plan, either by completing a reassessment of need or simply by reviewing the care plan. And to do that, you click on the Detail button on the Inbound Referrals section pictured below. You can now edit your care plan from here without reviewing the entire assessment. If you need any further help with the ANAF and how to complete it, then please contact the help desk, giving as much detail as you can. This will ensure that we get the right person to support you as quickly as we can.